Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today you probably noticed I'm in more of a casual setting because we're going to do a question and answer video. So if you guys want to grab a quick cup of tea and we'll get started. So over the summer I asked you guys if you had any questions for me and you came up with some really good ones. And I'm sorry it kind of took me so long to put the video together, but better late than never. So I'm just going to jump right in. So the first question is from Justin at Texas Magnolia Home. He said, was this you and your husband's first home to buy together? And if so, what suggestions or advice do you have for first-time homeowners? So this is our first house buying. Before this we rented three or four different places. But the reason that we decided this was the one was because it was like a good financial decision. It was about the same we were going to be paying as rent, but then we would have like something to show for it. And I was like, I guess you call it nesting, but I was getting like antsy where I wanted to be able to do my own thing. I wanted to paint walls. I wanted to, you know, just put my own touch on it and not have to get approval from somebody first. And my advice is to just wait till the right time, but also like be money smart. Just because the bank will approve you for a certain amount, I would say probably go lower than that. That way you're not in over your head. So, I mean, that's just the way that we work. So, Mason Jar Memories asked, how would you liven up a room if there's no room to rearrange furniture? So, first, I'm like famous for painting walls. My whole family kind of knows it. Like, I'm always painting something. So that would be like my first suggestion is painting. I would hang up artwork. You can do that like really easy and it kind of puts a new feel on the room. You can change like, you can even change styles. Like if you just hang a different picture, you can go from like farmhouse to mid-century without changing a ton of different things. And then if you had a little bit more money to spend without having to move the furniture around, I would say get a rug, because having a rug can kind of change the whole feeling too. It makes it like warmer and cozy and almost like its own little section. Okay, so Ladybug Carrie asked a few questions. She asked if I have siblings, nieces, or nephews. So I have two brothers. I'm the oldest of the three of us kids, and I have one niece. And then she asked some questions about our wedding. So where did you meet your hubby? And I actually met him on Match.com. So we're like one of those success stories. So yeah, we met on there. How long did you date before you were engaged? We were married after about a year of dating, so it was like somewhere in between there. Let's see. Do I have a picture of my dress? I'm going to see if I can find one. We got married like 10 years ago, so I wasn't like huge into taking like smartphone camera pictures of everything because I didn't have one yet. I had like the flip phone. So yeah. And let's see. How long after did you marry? So, like I said, it was a year after we started dating. We just did a justice of the peace. It was just me and him. It was our first apartment, and both of our parents were there for witnesses. And I know that sounds really, like, strange to some people, but that was, like, the only way it was going to happen. So, I don't usually talk about anything, like, sad or, like, I don't know, angsty-ish on my channel, but it was that way because I was never going to have, like, the big church wedding. I suffer from problems with anxiety, and it was, like, in my early 20s or so that, like, it got so bad that, like, my mom, she kind of, like, told me that I'm going to take you to the doctor because you need to do something. So it was, like, so bad that first time going to the doctor, I could barely even walk in. So my anxiety is based around like time frames, like having appointments. The doctor is like the worst. Like back then, if you had told me I had to have a doctor's appointment, it would have been like the end of my world. I would have to take off like a day or two ahead to like prepare for it because I couldn't just like go to work the day before and then like know I was going the next day. It wrecked everything. So I spent like 2 days in bed working up to that first visit, and it was just really bad. But thankfully, it gets better. I still have anxiety over things with time constraints. So like anything that's scheduled, like if I was to get a haircut or nails done, anything like that, I do it all myself because it bothers me. So, you know, some things you can't avoid, you kind of have to force yourself to do the doctors. But, you know, it's like a trigger. And then things like waiting in lines. So it'd be like, I remember it was around Christmas time and I was in TJ Maxx. And this is like just one of the times I remember vividly. And it was like a big line because it was Christmas time and like people in front and people behind. And you just feel like you have to get out of there. If you've never had a panic attack, I don't want you to ever have to feel it because it's like a really bad feeling. Your heart's like racing, you're hot, you're cold, you're sweaty. You feel like you're going to pass out. I don't know if it's physiologically possible because I think your heart rate is so elevated. But that was like my biggest fear, is that I'm going to make a scene, I'm going to pass out, they're going to have to take me to the hospital. It was like a whole cycle. So I don't want to like drag this video down and make it sad, but I do just want to let you know that just because everything seems happy all the time, you know, I do real stuff too. I just try and keep it light for you guys. But if you are having trouble with that, it does get better. So now after that, Valerie Terrazas asked me, what is the history of the house? So this was a house that went into like a tax sale. I don't know if it works this way everywhere, but around here, if the owner doesn't pay the taxes, the owner has the first year to pay it, the bank has the second year, and then it goes up for like a tax sale. So it's kind of a macabre story. The father and son that lived here, they both died on the same day. I think the son had some kind of a problem and he had to go to the hospital, and the father had a heart attack in the car on the way there, I believe. So it's like a weird story. Sad. Does your husband enjoy thrifting as much as you do? He absolutely does not. He enjoys the Goodwill bins because he likes like the hunting for things, but like going to Salvation Army or a regular Goodwill store, not a chance. Did you have a big wedding? No. Do you consider yourself a minimalist or a maximalist? I'm going to say I'm somewhere in between. I can't stand clutter and I like to have surfaces with like some visible space, but I can't do the completely stark and bare either because it just feels like sterile and hospital to me. I want to have like some things that make me interested and make me smile. I remember the story of when I got it, that type of thing. So what made me start a YouTube channel? I just did it because I kind of wanted to share what I was doing. So I don't have a ton of like friends outside of, you know, like knowing people from work and stuff like that. I think because of like all the social stuff, it makes it harder for me to like do normal things like that. So I wanted to share, and I wanted to share with like-minded people, because at the time I was like early 30s, late 20s when I first like thought about it. I didn't really make it official until 2016, but the people that are my age in this area don't really do the same things I do. So I kind of wanted to share it with like-minded people, and I love like getting to meet all you guys through this. So will we ever meet your husband? I don't know. I don't know if he really wants to be on camera. So I guess that remains to be seen. So Keeping It Real asked, what made you want to start doing YouTube videos? Okay, so I kind of just touched on that. I just wanted to share my finds and the things I'm building and making. I wanted to share the house. And I just really like getting to know everyone, I guess. So Karen Joy said, what made you get into decor? So I think what made me get into decor, I would say it's the whole house thing. I like the cleaning and the making a comfy space because it relaxes me and it calms me. And it's kind of like an artistic thing. Like all along I've done artistic things as I grew up, but this is kind of like the one that stuck. Like when I was younger, I really liked to do things with polymer clay. I did embossing for a while and stamping and stuff, but now that I have like a home where I can actually like put things, that's kind of like just what it channeled into, is like decorating. Alright, so Heather Ludwig asked, if you could visit anywhere in the US, where would it be and why? So I don't have like a specific like location. Where I would like to visit would be someplace like you know when you're watching the Hallmark Channel during those Christmas movies and they have like that tiny small town street with the snow falling and like the perfect old time stores and Christmas setting? That's like what I want to see. I would love to go someplace that had like that little old time type feel to it. And what is your favorite season? It's hard. Whatever season I'm in, I'm always kind of like enjoying it and looking to what I can do for the next season decor. So I feel like it changes with each season. Like I'm got so excited for fall, you know, sketched out ideas, planned things. And now that like we're in the middle of fall, my mind's already kind of like spinning to Thanksgiving and Christmas. Give me 1 second. I'm going to set her down. She's starting to wiggle. So yeah. There you go, sweetie. So yeah, now my mind is like on Christmas and trying to think of that. So I feel like stuff like that keeps me occupied and kind of like entertained. But so my favorite season, I guess, is kind of always changing. Okay, and then I've got 3 left. So Rini Handler asked, where did you go to college and what degree did you get? So I just went to a community college. I went, probably the only reason I did college was because I had a full scholarship. When I was in high school, I was always really like focused on academics and stuff. I graduated 3rd in the class. So I always concentrated on that. I never had like a part-time job or anything in high school because it was all just like get good grades. So I got a scholarship to a community college and I got a business degree there. Now, had I known at the time, I probably would have done something more artistic. Like if I like in hindsight, what I would do, I probably would have gone to be a contractor because I love building things and kind of like coming up with solutions to make things work. I would have loved to have that like knowledge or that option, I guess. But, you know, that's something like at that time, I wasn't really into that. I went because I kind of had to. So yeah. So Barb Siebert asked, what is your job away from home? So I'm a secretary. I work for a company that does like a bunch of different things. So I kind of have like a rounded day. We do mainly like vending type stuff, machines, but we also do rentals. So I kind of touch on the real estate side of it too. Not like buying and selling, but like apartments and stuff. So it's kind of like a little bit of everything and it keeps it interesting. And then the last question is Marley Rose said, who got you interested in gardening or how did you get interested in it? So that probably happened over this past summer. I got tired of looking at the outside of our house, and I know that sounds terrible, but the yard was just so like big and empty, and it wasn't like fun and entertaining. So when summer came around, I didn't have as many house projects inside. I went ahead and I set my mind to making like 1 or 2 major area changes. So I built like that little garden, the flower garden thing, and then I built like the little pond. But once I got started, I loved it. I enjoyed it so much. I like the whole like researching. Like I mentioned, the whole academic thing. I still like to learn things. So like when I started reading like all the books, taking notes on the flowers that I wanted to put in and like all their care. I liked the learning aspect of it. And then like finding out actually like what lives and thrives. So like I've got a list of things I'll put in again next year. In case you're curious, I have salvia, which I planted in June, and it's the end of October now. It's still gorgeous. It smells terrible, so you don't want it in the house, but out in the garden it's fine. Still purple, still bright and green. And then I got some coreopsis too. They're like the large ones, and they pretty much went from June until right about now. They're starting to brown out, but those 2 I'm definitely going to repurchase and put a ton more in. So yeah, so that's all the questions you guys gave me. I hope that this video wasn't too long and like blabbery, and I hope you got to know like a little more about me. So I want to thank you for sticking around and watching this. I'll see you in the next video.